Alright, welcome back to the channel. Maybe you do, maybe you don't recognize the backdrop for today's video. I am in my hometown in Northeast Ohio. It's October, the season of change. So I wanted to come on here and talk about something I've been going through as a creative that maybe you might resonate with. So less about business, less about gear today, more just about the mindset of being a creative and overcoming some changes and hurdles as you commit to this career path year over year. So here we are in fall of 2025 in Northeast Ohio, where I grew up. I thought this was a perfect place to kind of tell this story and tell this narrative. So let me get right into it. So I've been trying to articulate this for a while on this channel now as I put out more videos and start down the YouTube path, but I think the title for this video is going to be something along the lines of feeling lost as a creative and why being lost might just be the best thing that ever happened to you. Maybe it's the best thing that ever happened to me, but that's one thing I'm trying to uncover in this video, is just educating you about my research about how not just myself as a creative, but many creatives might hit this turning point in their career where they feel a little bit lost, a little directionless, a little unsure about the future of working in the creative field. So this is my take on that. Definitely a bit more of an introspective state of mind kind of video, but I'm going to talk you through some pieces of content that I've consumed that have helped me navigate this a bit and educate you on maybe navigating your own period of being lost as a creative. So here we go. So every creative hits that moment. The camera feels heavier, the edits feel empty, the spark that once defined you starts to fade. But what if being lost isn't the end of your path? It's the start of a new one. In this video, I'm going to talk a lot about Dan Koe, pull some quotes and philosophies from his book, The Art of Focus, and in general, just kind of mixing in some quotes from his content because he was a good resource for me to watch and follow during my process of being lost. I am by no means out of that phase, but I want to educate you on some of the things that I learned about being lost as a creative and what the next steps might look like for me, or maybe even for you. So in this video, we're going to explore some of Dan Koe's philosophies from his book, The Art of Focus. I'll link that Audible down here below. I'll link some of his social media pages because we're going to talk a lot about his philosophies. Dive into why uncertainty is actually a creative compass, and learn how to find meaning and direction in being lost. Where does this begin? The moment you realize you're lost. You know that moment when your work just stops feeling like you. You open Lightroom or Premiere and stare, not just at the screen, but at a version of yourself that you don't recognize anymore. Now, this isn't burnout that we're talking about in this video. This isn't laziness. It's evolution knocking at the door, and you're scared to answer the door. You're scared to answer and figure out what's on the other side. What does the next path look like? What does the next direction look like? Most people think that being lost means something has gone wrong, when actually, and maybe it's a sign that you've outgrown the life that you used to fit into perfectly, and what it feels like to be in this in-between as you discover and figure out maybe what that next path is. Most people think that being lost means something's gone wrong, but maybe it's a sign that you've outgrown the life that used to fit you perfectly. A big quote from Dan Koe is, "You must unbecome who you are before you can become who you're meant to be." So unlocking from a past self to then move into a future self, which might just be the best version of you ever. Section 1, the wisdom in being lost. Being lost isn't a crisis, it's merely a transition. It's your old identity breaking down so a new one can form. When you feel disoriented, disconnected, or uncertain, it's not failure, this is feedback. It's your creative system rebooting itself. You can't build something new while still clinging to what's old.
The discomfort is your invitation to start again, only intentionally this time. These are important cues to pay attention to.
Section 2, the quote that changes everything. Let me share a quote that perfectly captures this. And this is a Dan Koe quote. I want this one to sink in.
Go on a long walk. No direction, no time limit, no step count. Instead, think deeply about where your life will end up if you continue on your current trajectory. If that's not the future you want, something needs to change, and fast. Most people never reflect on the consequences of their choices, and thus they never have a reason to turn off autopilot.
And you know, when I first read that, it hit me hard, because that's exactly what most of us do. We continue down cycles and continue living in autopilot, and life is just going on around us, and we're just stuck in the comfortable, the routine, and we just continue down that autopilot path. We follow the same creative routines, post the same work, chase the same numbers on social media, until one day we realize we've been perfecting a version of ourselves that no longer inspires us. That's what lost really means. It means you've stopped lying to yourself about the path you're on. All right, section 3, the pain of staying the same.
Dan Koe writes about this moment, the point where the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. You start feeling trapped in cycles. Wake up, work, scroll, compare, repeat. You can see your potential in flashes, but can't reach it because you've anchored to old habits. That's the moment you need to confront your trajectory. Write it down, audit your days. Ask yourself, if I keep living like this, where will it take me in 5 years? That's not a motivational exercise, it's a survival one.
All right, section 4, and this ties back into the big quote from earlier in the video. Movement creates clarity. And why the quote talks about going on a long walk ties right into this section.
Most creatives wait for clarity before taking action. But here's the paradox. Clarity only comes through movement. You don't think your way into your next version, you act your way into it. Pick up a new medium, experiment with no goal, create something just for you. Every imperfect step generates data, and that data reveals what truly excites you. Don't wait to know who you are to start creating again. Start creating again to find out who you really are.
Fifth section in this video, solitude and the space to rebuild.
When you pull back from the noise, from the constant stream of content, opinions, and comparisons, you rediscover your own curiosity, and that curiosity is the seed of reinvention. This is why being lost often starts with solitude. It's not loneliness, it's creative incubation. The silence feels uncomfortable at first, but that's where the next version of you begins to form. You start asking better questions. What actually matters to me? What do I want to create? Not for validation, but for meaning.
Section 6, rebuilding from first principles. Once you've cleared space, you rebuild, not from trends or what's expected, but from first principles. Asking yourself questions like, what kind of stories do I love telling? What emotions do I want my art to awaken? What kind of life do I want my creativity to fund, not just fill? You stop rebuilding what was and start designing what's next. That's how the lost become architects of their next chapter. All right, section 7, the cycle of reinvention. Every creative goes through this cycle: curiosity, intensity, consistency. Curiosity is where you wander, like places like this. Intensity is where you act. Consistency is where you refine everything you're building in that new phase of you. Then the loop repeats. Each time you evolve, you'll feel lost again, but you'll know it's just the start of another transformation. Section 8, the dual path of the modern creative. Don't quit everything to reinvent yourself. Build a 2-lane life. Active work, what pays the bills. Future work, what builds your next identity. Even if that second lane is just an hour a day, protect it. Spend time there, experiment there, build that into your day as if you're educating yourself and learning a new skill, but carving out this additional time to explore that second lane, because that's where your next version of yourself will live, and you will continue to grow into that space. All right, section 9, the future you're building. So you begin to learn that feeling lost is your creative intuition. As you progress through feeling lost, you slowly learn about this phase and this feeling. So feeling lost is your creative intuition saying, this isn't it anymore. It's not failure, it's a compass. It's pointing you toward who you could become if you're brave enough to start over. And when you do, you'll realize you were never lost. You were just exploring a new lane, a new journey, a new path. My invitation to you, go on that long walk. No direction, no step counts, no exercise on your watch, just time to reflect. Ask yourself where your current path leads. If it's not where you want to go, change your direction and change it fast. Because being lost is not the end. It's the beginning of finding, not a path that someone gave you, but the one you want to create for yourself. So if you can resonate with any of the messages from today's video, drop me a comment. Love to hear your story. I'd love to hear what you're going to take from this and apply in your own life. But I hope you learned something. I hope you can normalize being lost with me as I go through this journey myself. But I hope you start to build the path and the life you want to live and create. Unlock from that autopilot mindset and start to explore new things, explore new directions, experiment. That's what I'm doing here with the YouTube channel. I don't know where this is going to lead or what it will lead to. Learn with me. We can learn together, experience new things, learn new skills, and try things. I think part of discovering that new you is failing again and again. Just like I did with my photography journey, I'm trying to do again here with learning videography and cinematography. It takes this time of uncomfortableness, of sucking, of not being good at it, of talking awkwardly to a camera, but that's where the most growth occurs. So remember that being lost is not the end. It's the beginning of finding, not a path that someone gave you, but the one that you create. All right, see you in the next one.